Hi, it's me again, Mario. The topic of what I'm going to do is pretty controversial today, but it will answer a lot of questions about me. Why did I leave Christianity but not the church? Now, I'm not here to offend anybody. I'm just pretty much to give my points of views of how I'm seeing the world today and the cards that we was dealt today, and hopefully wake up some people out there. Now, when I'm saying Christianity, I'm referring to the mainstream Christianity, all the ones influenced by the Roman Catholic Church. Now, if you're Christian, nothing personal, not even business. It's all about truth. Now, if you truly read the Bible, then you will understand exactly where I'm coming from. By definition, I'm Christian. Christ meaning is the Greek word for the Hebrew word anointed one, Mashiach. And then the tongue part is just a follower or like one. So technically, I follow the Mashiach, therefore I'm Christian. But there are certain different things that I don't do that by saying that I'm Christian, people will assume that I do. Like certain holidays, feast days, different ways of keeping the law, following the law, and mainly important, the difference between exalting a person and following a person. Now, I was Christian for a very long time, but I noticed as Christian, I could never really understand the Bible. I mean, I just remember growing up as a kid, just always wanting to read the Bible, but never quite understanding. And I always thought it was because I was a kid. Really didn't know no better. But then I grew up, and even as an adult, like by the age of 23, I still didn't understand. I was still like I was that 13-year-old sitting in a pew. Now I knew about, Jesus, a guy coming back, sacrificing for sin, resurrecting from the dead, being called Son of God, Son of Man, supposed to be returning, came from the Most High or the Father. But I never really understood the purpose or the connection, how he even did it, what did he say to do when he meant, or what he meant by saying, pick up your cross and follow me. Never really understood it. And no pastor would, sit down and talk. And when I went to Bible study, we had good Bible study sessions. I was able to share some of my knowledge. My pastor at my mom's church, he did, attempt to answer the question, so I can't get that. The guy is very smart. Shouts out to Pastor Roland at New Piney Groves. But just the whole Christian theology, I couldn't grasp my mind around. It was just too many holes in it. It's like Swiss cheese. It's like a big sailboat, and the sailboat sails had holes in it. I mean, it looks nice, but I wasn't going nowhere. I had a lot of patching to do. So, I stepped back. I still kept the basis of, what I believe. Believed in the Bible for one. Believed in Mashiach. Believed in the resurrection. Believed in the return. And those four things couldn't really couldn't really tell me nothing else about it. I mean, it's all pretty clear there in the book. But see, here's the thing about the book. I didn't really understand what I was reading. So while I was in Oklahoma, I joined this church. We went on Sundays and everything, but this was when we start slowly learning about the Sabbath. We still kept the Sabbath, but we still went to the Sunday church. And the reason why we still went because, they was a small church. Everybody agreed on one thing, and they treated you like family. And everybody spoke. It wasn't just one person. I mean, they had a pastor over them, but everybody got to bring their own specific type of message if they wanted to. And that's what I liked about it. So that there narrowed it down. Like, I don't want to do mega churches or big churches. Keep my churches small. That way everybody knows everybody. Everybody pretty much understands everybody's whole points of view. And the message didn't really come from one specific man's view. And that right there was the key to pretty much unlocking this whole thing of just my mindset. Not really seeing just one person's views, but just every point of view. So then I started reaching out to different types of religions and noticing that a lot of religions had, a lot of truth in them. But it was still religion. And that's the thing. Christianity is still in the category of religion. I mean, so does every other religion, Hindu, Buddhist, Confucianist, the Baha'i faith, Judaism, Islam, Wiccan. I mean, countless of other religions. And that's the thing. I just can't see myself in religion. I'm spiritual. Okay, so now here's the big thing that I feel about Christianity. They don't follow the Torah. And Christ taught from the Torah. He didn't even do away with them. He even said that I had came not to destroy the laws, but to fulfill them. Christians don't even know what law translates to in Hebrew. I don't even think if you don't speak Hebrew, you probably don't even know this anyway. But law in Hebrew means Torah. And technically, the Torah is the word of God. Handed it down to Moses. Moses read on a piece of paper, tablet, scroll, whatever you want to call it. Later on down the line, the Torah became flesh, dwelt among men, lived perfectly by it. That's why Christ was so in tune with the law. He knew exactly what to say right on time, whenever. That's why he blew the scribe's mind when he was young. He was the walking Torah. But yet, y'all say that the Torah is done away with. And y'all pretty much tossing away Christ. But I mean, I kind of cheated because I kind of recently just discovered that, like maybe about 3 months ago. But all I'm just saying, I did not learn it in the Christian church. And I definitely don't think that the early churches even tossed out the Torah. I mean, stepping outside of Christianity, I learned a lot more about the Mashiach than I did in it. I mean, I even know what sacrifice he actually performed in order to atone our sin. And a lot of Christians don't even know that. But see, this is the thing though. Instead of studying the Christ, y'all exalt him. He never said exalt him. He says honor him. How you honor him is by honoring the Father. And if you honor the Father, you're honoring the Son that he sent him because you learned it from him. So that's pretty much getting an honor. But that does not mean to get rid of the Father. I mean, where is even the Father anywhere in Christianity? Nobody brings up the Father unless they go back to the Old Testament or they say something in the same sentence as putting Jesus in. And that's the thing. There's nobody beside the Father. Now I say that he's the Son of God. Huge misconception. He even says it himself that ye are gods. So therefore, am I blaspheming because I say I'm the Son of God when you're the Son of God as well? Everybody in Israel was the Son of God. It says it in Exodus 4. They came out of Israel's being called sons of God. That's why he killed all of the Egyptians' firstborn sons because they was killing his firstborn son. So everybody down the line upon Israel was called sons of God. So son of God title is not really all of that as you should claim it to be. Son of man, yeah, we might be able to have hold an argument with the title son of man, but you don't learn about that. I mean, but okay, you have to kind of think about it with Christianity. Look where it came from. It came from the Roman Catholic Church. Nobody really sees too much wrong with the Roman Catholic Church, especially if you're Christian. But there's so many things wrong with it. Now, not the people, just the system. We have to understand that there's a huge difference between the people and the system. The people just follows the system. They don't really know. They get caught up in it by definition, meaning that they just don't know. But it's the people up at the top who we should be really concerned about. Now, Revelations, it keep on saying like all the like for some reason the churches and all these churches are up in Europe where Rome is, and Christ keep on prophesying to 5 out of 7 of them that they keep on following in this teaching of Balaam, of the Nicolaitans, of the Chaldeans, Babylon, and he says he's going to come to pour out their wrath on them. They don't get it together. If 2 of these churches are saved from this wrath. And it's all about keeping some type of work. Now, what are these works? You can a Christian answer this? I'm gonna ask a series of questions, but can a Christian answer me what are these works? Keeping the commandments of Jesus? Well, the commandments of Jesus, if Jesus is the walking Torah or the Word of God, will be the exact same word that He gave to Moses. So the Ten Commandments still stand. So if the Ten Commandments still stand, what are we doing on Saturdays? What are we doing on Sundays? Why do we make Sundays the gathering or the church gathering when it clearly says it, keep the Shabbat? Now, in the Bible, it says, if you, Christ said himself, if one will break the least of these commandments, I'm assuming that the Shabbat will be the least of these commandments because other ones are pretty important. I mean, you can't. That's why they still kind of stand. You can't really throw that out. So, but the Shabbat will be the easiest to get rid of. And if you break the least one, you'll be called least in the kingdom. There's a whole kingdom, largest kingdom that breaks the least of this the commandments. Why do y'all follow it? Daniel said the beast would change time and day. I mean, the time and the law. He did both of them. He moved the Sabbath to the Sunday, and then he changed the law by simply removing it. They don't follow any of the traditions the same traditions that Jesus kept. Yet they take claim to this guy. How can you take claim to a guy and not even do the exact same thing? How exactly are y'all following him? Did he keep Christmas? Did he have birthday parties? Did they? Did, I mean, did he? It's not anywhere in the Bible. And a lot of Christians like to say, well, it was the three wise men. Three wise men, by the way, are not even in the Bible, but it comes from the Catholic Church that it was three wise men. But the three wise men came to him as an infant, which was wrong. But the infant image is all in the Catholic Church. Where do you think they got that image from? Pagan mythology. Of December 25th. Where do you think they got that from? Pagan mythology, sun worship. But yeah, y'all associate this with the God of the Bible or God of Israel. Yet Israel never kept none of this. Jesus didn't even think about December 25th. In fact, he was born. How could it possibly be that cold? Because it gets pretty cold in Palestine during December. And there were shepherds in the field feeding their flock. Impossible. But yeah, they said that the wise men brought the gifts there that day too. Nope. Jesus was 2 years old and he was living in a house at that time. Doesn't even say it was his birthday or the day he was born either. They say that, they use Sunday as the day he resurrected. Nope. No, he didn't. The Catholic Church added that to make it Sunday that more important for you to go and worship on it. They're giving you their God to worship on. Exodus says that this will be a sign between you and me. So what do you think the sign will be between the Sunday worship and you? That's a sign between you and the sun. Jesus actually didn't even rise on the Sunday. The tomb was just simply found empty. I mean, for one, they said 3 days. Yes, they said 3 days. But you also forget the 3 nights as well. Friday, sunset, to Sunday sunrise is not 3 days or 3 nights. So are you really going after the Bible? I mean, come on, we can count it right now. Friday night, Saturday morning. That's one day. Sunday night, Sunday morning. That's only 2 days and 2 nights. And they say, well, what about the Sabbath day? Well, see, that's the thing. You have to read the Torah and to know what that week was all about. That was the week of the Feast of the Unleavened Bread. There was 2 Sabbaths, actually 3 Sabbaths that week. Because it was a Sabbath for the Passover, a feast for the unleavened bread, and the weekly Sabbath. The Sabbath that Christ died before, that was the Sabbath for the Feast of the Unleavened Bread. The Sabbath that Christ resurrected on, that was the weekly Sabbath. So the preparation day was that Friday for the weekly Sabbath, but the preparation day that he died on was on a Wednesday. So let's count that. Died on the cross around 3 o'clock. So let's count that. He died at 3 o'clock, let's just say. Placed in the tomb maybe about 5 o'clock. So we'll start at 6 o'clock, sunset, and we'll just call that sunset. So seeing how there was no watches and there was no 12 a.m. at the time, sunset actually was midnight, quote unquote, for Israel. This marks, a whole new day. But we'll just keep it simple. You have Wednesday night, sunset, to Thursday, sunset. That was one day, one night. Then you have Thursday sunset to Friday sunset. That's 2 days. That's also the day of preparation for the weekly Sabbath. Wednesday then you have Friday sunset
to Saturday sunset. 3 days, 3 nights. And I would like to say that, just whether, you know, he started when he died or when he was placed in the tomb or when the sun set. Either way, between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. or whenever that sunset was, he resurrected. The tomb opened. There was nobody there throughout the night. The guards probably flee. They weren't finna tell nobody that they ran, so because they was gonna get killed. That's how they did them those days. So they probably went into hiding. And then just before, I'm sure that the sun was just coming up, and Mary's making her way onto the tomb. And she's like, "Oh, what is this?" The stones rolled back. He's gone. I'm already empty. So how can we associate that with his resurrection? Sunday is completely irrelevant to his resurrection. In fact, Sunday was actually a whole um, another feast of the first fruit. They began reaping already. They've been reaping because it started last night, sunset. So Christ rose just in time to catch the feast of the first fruits. Then I get like, oh, um, Sunday is when the church used to gather because it's in Acts. It says first week. Really, it doesn't say the first day of the week. And if you go really look at the coordinate, it says Sabbath. They added first week. First day of the week. And then they said, well, oh, Paul stayed and taught on the first day of the week as well. And he also gathered money then. So, he couldn't do that on the Sabbath. So, in the middle of him gathering money, they probably was like, oh, can you stay and teach some more? Probably said, yeah, sure, no problem. And so he taught some more, taught on the first day of the week. Want to take that on? Well, you can go to Hebrews 4 and 1. Clearly says that the Shabbat is for the people of God, plain as day. Jesus, did most of his miracle on Shabbat. They said that he worked. Technically, no, he did. Healing, doing miracles. You consider that being work, or you consider that helping? What you ought to be doing on the Shabbat, because that's the power that you're supposed to have on the Shabbat. Supposed to be healed. Supposed to be supposed to be letting the blind see. Those are things of the Father's job, which shouldn't be grievous at all, or any type of labor. Then they say that he picked the corn. You can pick corn. You can't pick up a sickle and cut down the corn. You should read that in the Torah. Jesus kept the Sabbath. The whole city would gather to hear him teach on the Sabbath, on the Shabbat. So, guys, the Shabbat still stands. No, I'm not Seventh-day Adventist because they still go underneath the umbrella of Christianity. Why I say that? Because they still exalt Jesus. Now, yes, I'm not taking anything from Jesus, but I simply can't exalt him. I exalt the Most High, Yah. I just go straight to the source. But I go through the mediator, which is the Mashiach, Yahushua. But when I say who is my God, it's Ahio. So this is pretty much, I know a lot of people are going to reagree with me. Probably going to get stoned for this. Lose a lot of friends, but, I really don't really care. If you can't really hear the message anyway within it, then, I don't want to be friends with slaves. Sorry. But that's pretty much all I really got. Again, it's not to offend anybody. If you're going to do whatever you want to, I'm not even trying to get you to believe what I believe. But if you want to know what I believe or anything like that, then you already know what to do. Hit me up. But till then, shalom.